Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for this edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. In the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including information from city departments. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, July 9th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our City Manager, Mark Roloff. Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here, Andy.
All right. Well, we have some great news to start out with today. We actually have been waiting for quite a while to talk about this. Pratt Trail through Menominee Park is finally open.
It sure is, and I know our Parks Director, Ray Maurer, is very excited that it's finally open. You know, the road has been closed for nearly a year after we discovered some archaeological items of significance when the construction began back in August of last year. And so one of the first things we did was we contacted the Cultural Resource Management Program at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. We are required to get an agency that is very familiar with this type of work, and we work closely with them. And so not only UW-Milwaukee, but also the Wisconsin Historical Society, the Wisconsin DNR, as well as the tribal nations, which were very cooperative and helpful in helping us sort through this all. The idea was, because the archaeologists, their job is aimed at the preservation of these archaeological assets in their original location. So how do we do a road paving project and preserve these items? And that's a challenge. And I appreciate all the work that was done to make sure that we were able to do it. And, you know, as a result, it took a while to get it done. But I can tell you that already, even though it's only been open one day, that the families have figured it out. So we figured we might as well let everybody know that Pratt Trail is now open. So people are going to be enjoying it for the 4th of July, and just being able to go over to the Little Oshkosh area and just enjoy that part of Menominee Park that they haven't been able to enjoy for a year. So all's well that ends well, and we're real happy about it.
Sure. And there was quite a bit that was done. There was stormwater infrastructure that was replaced at the road, curb and gutter repair, new asphalt paving. And so really this is a full update of that road. Yeah,
the entire length of Pratt Trail from Merritt Avenue to the intersection with Seaward Trail. You know, because of all the archaeological stuff, you forget, this was a street project, and that's what it started out as. So we're happy that it's done, and happy to move on for the public to enjoy the remainder of Menominee Park.
Okay, absolutely. Glad to be able to report that. All right, we also have some good news. We have a new director over at the Oshkosh Public Museum.
Yes, well, it's a familiar face. It's Anna Canizzo. Anna was previously our assistant museum director, and she's been with the museum for the past 10 years. She originally was our curator of collections for 6 years, and then she was the assistant director for 4 years. But you know, I'm most appreciative that she served not one but two terms as an interim director. So she's been very much a team player, and certainly is deserving of this. Prior to Anna coming to us, she has a total of 25 years in the museum field. So she's extremely well qualified. She was the curator of collections and the interim director at Denison Museum at Denison University in Ohio for 7 years. And so she's got just a wealth of knowledge and information. And you know, as an aside, and we were just talking about working with the tribes for Pratt Trail, Anna was very instrumental in working with the tribes when we were working on the Chief Oshkosh plaques as well as the celebration. And she's developed a very close relationship with the native tribes and working with them on our collections, making sure that we are managing them properly with the due respect that the tribes would expect, and to the degree we have to return some of those things to the tribes. She's been very sensitive to that. So I really like the approach that she's taken with this. So we're excited that she's that she's going to be part of my senior management team, and it's a great time for the museum. This is the 100th anniversary of our public museum, and I think Anna and the museum staff have done a wonderful job just showing it off. Even though we're going through some transition with the building right now, they're still out there keeping the museum relevant, working on great educational programs with our new education curator. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some great things coming out of the museum in the next few years.
Right, absolutely. And during this 100th anniversary, they have so much going on at the museum right now, and it's great to see that they have plans, exciting plans moving forward into the years to come. So great opportunity for Anna. All right. Over at the Oshkosh Senior Center, one of the popular programs, speaking of programs at our locations here, at the Senior Center has Connect Through Tech, and that has been a very popular program, and they have received some additional or new funding.
Well, the Connect Through Tech program actually started pre-COVID, and then the timing couldn't have been better because we started to provide this program to residents to learn how to better connect to their families, to their doctors, to all of the resources that needed to be connected through technology. And we created the Connect Through Tech program with the Ruth Bader Foundation out of Milwaukee. They help fund a part of it. And what Connect Through Tech does is it offers classes and support to help older adults get through their technological challenges, to assist them in things like cell phones, virtual meetings, emails, and think of Zoom that we didn't even know what that word meant, pre-COVID, and that became a huge part of our senior community, keeping in touch with their families. So we had such success with that program. We want to continue it. So the Senior Center is going to continue to offer this program with the support of. It's a program, a community development block grant program, but it was specifically during COVID that it was called the CARES Act that got additional community development block grant dollars. Most of our senior citizens are low and moderate income, so it's a perfect match for that program. And we're so pleased that we're able to offer that type of funding, because studies have shown that older adults have been especially impacted by the social isolation that was experienced during the pandemic. So the fact that we're able to offer this program really gives us the ability for our senior community to maintain their independence. And that's really one of the main goals of the Oshkosh Senior Center. So we're going to continue funding to provide funds for salaries and software to continue this program through that Community Development Block Grant CARES Act fund. Absolutely,
it's a vital program, and I think especially in the times that we live in, this is perfect. So
absolutely.
All right. Well, we wanted to make mention that there is a new gazebo and some landscaping under construction currently in our downtown area.
If you're driving on Washington Avenue or on State Street near the Oshkosh Public Library, William Waters Plaza is that little triangular shaped piece of land over there. It's at the southeast corner of Washington and State Street, and it goes back to 2016 when the city began the William Waters Plaza Reimagined project, and phase one was completed in the spring of 2019. Back then, that was some new sidewalks, some landscaping, and some seating options with some chessboards, and that was done in conjunction with the Washington Avenue reconstruction project and the Washington building next door that got developed. But phase two is getting a little more dreamy, which is great. It's going to be the construction of a covered gazebo that was designed to replicate some of the architectural features of the Oshkosh Public Library, which was designed by William Waters. So it's got that William Waters look to it. And the gazebo, along with the gazebo landscaping, is expected to be completed this fall. And you saw from the video a lot of activity going out there. And this public gathering space is going to encourage entertainment, art exhibits, and event programming for years to come. And with its proximity to the library, you're going to see a lot of the library getting out from behind their four walls and reaching out to the public and being more visible, which I just think is wonderful. So looking forward to getting this project complete and something for people to enjoy in our downtown area, particularly near the library.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And speaking of the library, they have their summer reading program in full swing right now.
They sure are. The challenge, their summer reading challenge is underway. Began June 1st in the library. Patrons register and track their reading online at the public library, or they can pick up a paper tracker at the library. Challenge runs through August 3rd, so get moving on it. We're halfway done. Mm-hmm. But kids, teens, and adults earn rewards for their reading, and local businesses have generously donated prizes for all the age groups. So we've had more than 300,000 minutes logged so far. So we're just about halfway done. So we're on our way. It's not related to the summer. This other item is not related to summer reading challenge, but in the theme of summer, just a reminder, the library has more than just books, and they've got lawn games available for checkout, including pickleball, croquet set, cornhole, bocce ball, and more. That indoor fun includes lots of board games and puzzles, so you can check it out at the library. And once again, the library's, next summer, the program will be added with programming out on William Waters Plaza, and we want to thank the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation. They've been a big part of raising funds for William Waters Plaza, and that relationship with the library is just going to continue into the future.
Sure. And folks, if they're not familiar with the library and their services, they really need to check it out, because there is so much available at the public library. Like you mentioned, some of those summer games and different things like that. So there's quite a bit there, and it's worth looking into. Yeah,
check out their website, oshkoshpubliclibrary.org, and you'll get tons of information about the services that are provided there.
Okay. All right. Very good. Then we also wanted to point out that the Oshkosh City Clerk's Office has recently sent out the absentee ballots, and now these are the ballots for the primary election that is coming up on August 13th.
Right. Over 2,500 absentee ballots have already been mailed out to residents. Mm-hmm. You can still request them, and so we certainly you can encourage you to do that, but the mailings include voter instructions, the hours and location for early absentee voting, mm-hmm. Which is also the location for the absentee ballot drop-off, and the prepaid return envelope as well. So you can certainly register to vote absentee, do early voting, but to register to vote, if you haven't already registered, and we do get an uptick in registrations during the presidential election years, but if you want to request an absentee ballot by mail, or find your polling place, or view the sample ballot, go to myvote.wi.gov. That gives you all the information, and there's the reminder. Election day is Tuesday, August 13th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. You're going to be hearing us talk a lot about that over the next month or so. And if you got any questions, you can look up all the MyVote information, but you can also call the city clerk's office at 920-236-5011, and they'll be happy to provide you with any answers to your questions.
Sure. And if you have received an absentee ballot in the mail, one of the items that is included in that mailing actually is the full information about how to return your ballot. So all the details are there, and as Mark mentioned, the city clerk's office is available for all of your questions at 236-5011. So. Okay, then we also wanted to point out that the Oshkosh Water Utility has a drinking water quality report available.
Yeah, and we've been publicizing this, and you may have gotten an email that said there's something coming, and you may have even gotten a mailing that talked about this. But this is a report. It's our drinking water quality report. Mm-hmm. It's also known as the the Consumer Confidence Report, but it provides information about the source and treatment of the water supply, which for us is Lake Winnebago, and health information about and then water quality data that's in there. So there's our annual drinking water report, and I'm happy to report that our water utility has an excellent record of meeting and exceeding all of our regulatory drinking water requirements. All of our results were within the expected ranges of previously collected data, which means that we're within all of the guidelines. I know in the past year, PFAS has been an issue that's been a concern, and the federal government came out with some standards because they hadn't had the standards before. We're well under those standards that they've established, so we're really happy to be able to report that. So if you're interested in the report itself, as we showed earlier, it's available on the Hot Topics section of the city's website, or you can take a look at it, see an in-person copy at the Oshkosh Public Library and at rooms 106 and 301 at City Hall. Happy to provide that information to you to understand that we're well within our drinking water ranges, and we're very proud of that. We do a great job at providing good, safe, quality water to our residents.
Okay, excellent. All right, and then we also wanted to provide a reminder for folks that boards and commissions of our city are currently seeking members.
Yeah, I mean, we've got about 20 boards and commissions that provide a whole range of advice and in some cases some review of items for the city. But so please consider that. There's no special skills required, just desire to make Oshkosh a great city. So we've got some openings on various boards and commissions already, and that changes on a regular basis. So right now, Board of Review, Board of Zoning Appeals, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee, Long Range Finance Committee, our Plan Commission, and our Sustainability Advisory Board. There's the information. You can contact my executive assistant, Cammie, at 920-236-5002. And of course, all this information is also on our website.
Absolutely. And a lot more information about those individual boards and commissions if people would like to learn a little bit more. All right. Then we also wanted to touch on a housekeeping item that our brush pickup for residents is happening July 8th through 12th.
Yeah, when we have a holiday during the first week of the month, we move brush pickup to the following week. So brush pickup for July is going to be July 8th through 12th. It's collected on your garbage day. And so there's just a few pointers there about, yard waste must be in biodegradable bags or bundled and tied. Brush should be less than 3 inches in diameter. We can't really take care of trees there, but bundled in 4-foot length and not to exceed 50 pounds. So please no grass, root balls, or stumps, but all that information's there. And if you're looking for more information, please visit our sanitation page on the city's website, and we can help you there as well.
Okay, very good. Well, Mark, I think it's about time that we take a short break. And if you stay with us, we'll have some highlights from the upcoming Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. We'll be right back. City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming Tuesday, July 9th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting. So, Mark, it looks like there's quite a few things that we have here on this agenda to mention today, and we're starting off with some information about Washington Elementary School, and what are we doing at this site?
We are very fortunate to have great cooperation with the Oshkosh Area School District, and they reviewed a proposal that was submitted jointly by the city and Habitat for Humanity to convert the Washington School site into 19 single-family housing lots. About half of them will be done by Habitat for Humanity, half will be done by the city to create affordable housing, workforce housing in this area. And as part of this process, our comprehensive land use plan identifies this appropriately as a community facility because of Washington School. We need to update our comprehensive land use plan to identify this for light density residential, which is what it will be in the future. But you see some of that extra area where the playground is. There's quite a bit of land there that's not just the footprint of the school. So we're proposing to do that, and this is just part of the process that we're required to follow if we're going to ultimately rezone or replan this. So Habitat for Humanity has been working with us. We're hopefully going to get some ARPA dollars from the awarded by the City Council to assist in covering costs that will keep the cost of this property down for development, which will make it more affordable housing for our residents. So I'm really excited about this.
Okay, excellent. All right, then under our consent agenda, there's an item for purchase of, I believe it's some software for our RT division, and this really deals with cybersecurity and trying to get out ahead of some of these potential issues.
It really does. A lot of people don't realize because 6 weeks before COVID hit, we were hit by a virus of our own, which was we had a computer virus attack, and so we want to make sure that we protect ourselves in every way possible. And so this is just a subscription renewal because we want to be more proactive about it, and we're excited that we're being proactive and hopefully avoiding some of the attacks that you hear with businesses and other governmental entities. We don't want that to happen with us, so we're just being careful.
Okay, very good. Then we also have an item looking at some road reconstruction in the area of the Oregon-Jackson Street Bridge. And this is a big project that's a little bit down the road a little bit, but we're...
A lot of people have, I'm sure, heard about the reconstruction of the bridge, which is scheduled to start in 2028, and it'll continue to 29 and maybe even to 2030. But the Jackson Street Bridge is going to get replaced. So we take this opportunity to work with the Department of Transportation on what's called the approaches to the bridge before you really start building the bridge structure. And you can see it's a pretty long length that we have here. So we're going north in this area. So we want to make sure that the area on Oregon Street from 6th to 8th also gets replaced during this time period. And then Jackson Street from Marion Road to High Avenue is also part of the approach, and we want to make sure that that part gets repaved. So we're working with the Department of Transportation on an agreement that'll make that all happen. It's still 4 years away before we really start working on this, or the Department of Transportation works on this, but we want to make sure that this work gets included in their project. We're going to do it at the same time, so it'll just help make for a smoother project.
Okay, very good. Then also under consent agenda, we have an item, and this relates to the extension of West Furnow Avenue.
Yeah, a lot of people are not aware of this because you kind of blow by Furnow Avenue where it is on Jackson Street and don't realize that, over on Vinland Avenue to the west, we have a piece of land that we've owned for a number of years, and the idea is to have an extension of Furnow Avenue to really connect some of our industrial areas, make it easier for people to get onto Interstate 41 and US 45. So this is a proposal to get this extended. And part of this is this action that's on Tuesday is really just to acquire some of the land that we need at the intersection of Jackson and Furnow so that we have enough sight distance and things like that to put signals and lights and things like that. So we're happy to be working on this. This is the part of the process to notify residents that we're going to be looking at acquiring some small pieces of property to make that more effective as an intersection.
Mm-hmm. Sure. A long time planning for that project, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then we also have a pending resolution, and this is setting a polling location, date, and times for early absentee voting.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we've been talking about is the city has acquired a piece of property at the corner of Jefferson and Irving, 19 East Irving, and this is the place where people will come to do their early absentee voting. So this council has to approve this as an official voting place, and then the council also gave us feedback that they wanted to see a little more time available for people to vote. We're not going to be able to do it for the August election, but we've never really done that extra voting time during the August election. But we have done it for the for presidential elections in the past. So we're going to be asking the council to approve this location, and then also a few extra hours, even some Saturday hours, so that if people's work schedules don't allow it, that we have it available on weekends for them in case they can't get over to City Hall during the day.
Sure. And we will have more information to come as those hours are established and more information, especially about the upcoming primary election and what those hours are and so forth. Okay, then I believe that we will probably have a good amount of time at the council meeting talking about the next item, which is discussion of ARPA grant applications.
Yeah, well, this has been a long process. We were initially awarded these ARPA funds back in 2021, but we need to allocate them by the end of 2024, and the council set aside 25% of our $20 million allocation, so a little over $5 million, to be used for non-infrastructure projects. And so we had already allocated about $2.7 million. So the council asked us to resolicit, and we had a series of meetings with the public over the course of the winter where we had like 3 sessions where people came in and provided input about what they would like to see, and also questions about the applications and what they could do. So the council's direction yielded some great results. We had 51 applications totaling over $12 million, which made our job a little tougher because, how do you dole that out when it's like $1 in $5 can be allocated in what was requested. So we went back to council and asked them to clarify a little more on priorities they would like to see. And back in May, they gave us 4 areas: housing, particularly affordable housing; homelessness, particularly both acute as well as preventive actions; childcare capacity; and diversity, equity, inclusion with a focus on underrepresented groups. So as a result of that, council took a look at staff's initial recommendations at the previous meeting on June 25th, and they had a workshop and they heard from some members of the public. And now council gave us some direction to put on the agenda actually a total of 17 proposed grant allocations, and that total is that $2,362,000 that I mentioned. And there's actually 5 areas. The 4 that I previously mentioned. Housing is 1 grant totaling $300,000. There are 3 grants targeted at homelessness for $325,000. Childcare capacity, 2 recommendations, $572,000. 8 grants for diversity, equity, inclusion, and underrepresented groups, and that totals a little over $800,000. And then 3 more that council identified as additional priorities as they discussed these, and there's 3 grants totaling about $360,000. That would, assuming they allocate all these funds as they've given us direction to put on the agenda, will allocate the balance of the funds that are for non-infrastructure purposes. So it's been a long process. I know not everybody's happy, but we're trying to do the best we can to allocate these funds. And council's going to have probably get some more input on Tuesday before they make final decisions on allocations.
Okay. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion about these, and there's a lot to consider there, but this has been quite a process.
Yeah, but I think it showed that 51 applications really justifies going through the process that council directed us to do.
Absolutely. All right. And we just wanted to make quick mention that we are getting into budget season, and the Capital Improvement Plan workshop is coming up on July 30th.
That's the first of several workshops. We'll probably have about 5 workshops over the course of the summer and fall. So just know that we'll have a 5th Tuesday, and so we're going to take advantage of it. And 5 p.m. on Tuesday, July 30th, is when we will talk about capital improvements and borrowing because they're really tied in together. So have that discussion and let the budget season begin. All
right. I'm sure we'll be talking about that a lot more. So, Mark, thank you very much for your insights today. We had a lot to talk about.
It's always a pleasure, Andy.
All right. And thank you for joining us today as well. We appreciate you taking the time. Again, that Oshkosh Common Council meeting is at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, July 9th. That's at City Hall at 215 Church Avenue. You can watch that live on GovTV, which is Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. You can always use your favorite streaming device, including Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. Just search for the Oshkosh Media app. And you can always visit our YouTube channel for government meeting archives and the full library of Oshkosh Media programming. So again, thanks for joining us today. Join us again in 2 weeks for another City Managers Report. Thank you.